As I mentioned yesterday, St. Stephen was one of the first martyrs of the church, and we read further about his being stoned to death today. The early church believed that the martyrs who died in conformity with the death of Christ, who shed their blood out of love for Christ, were truly saints, and they were recognized as saints. As the church grew and persecutions stopped, they began to take a different look at sanctity, that it was not only the shedding of blood that would make us in conformity to Christ, but it would be living our lives following the attributes of Christ in our life. And to become Christ-like was to become a saint as well. And so we see, like in St. Vincent de Paul, we see Christ's concern for the poor. In St. Francis of Assisi, we see Christ in his poverty. In St. Pius X, who allowed children at the age of 7 to receive communion, we see Christ's love for children. And all of these saints had different attributes that Jesus lived. All of us are called to do that. And when we do, we are in conformity with the life of Christ, and so we grow in sanctity. The greatest source of our sanctity is this Holy Eucharist. Jesus says in the Gospel, "I am the bread of life, and whoever eats this bread will live forever." St. Stephen certainly believed that, and he found that strength in Christ. And you and I, coming to Mass today, we find that same strength in Christ. We believe if we eat this bread, we will live forever. And so he is the source of our sanctity. So what we go about doing each day, hopefully, is somehow being a sign of Christ to the world by the way we live. But it is this source of life that we receive in the Eucharist that gives us the ability to be a sign of Christ to others. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.